What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Biz. If you don't know, now you know. The reason I haven't uploaded for a couple of weeks now is I just needed a break. I needed to take some time for myself. I've come from a place before this that was just so much pressure, depression. You know, you should know my story by now. And I started to feel pressure. I started to feel anxious. Certain things that were happening in my life. YouTube wasn't that fun feeling that I was getting at the start, so I took a step back just to see what was most important to me. I watched a lot of the YouTube and I started to get annoyed with some of the things that I found. There's so much crap that's just happening. People are getting cancelled for saying something. I let it affect me. I let it get the better of me. I am in no way against women. I am in no way against the LGBTQ, I think it is. I don't even know. To me, it's not that it doesn't matter. It's that that's cool. If that's what you want to do, who you are, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't brand people. I don't identify people as what that is, or this is this and that is that. Are you good or are you a shit cunt? That is who I am, and that is always how I will be. It's because I was raised by people that made me this way. It's not something that I need to change, because I'm a good person. In my heart, I'm a good person. I know what's right, I know what's wrong. I've made mistakes, I've made selfish decisions, I've done things in the past that were wrong. I'm a human being, right? I've apologized for it, I move forward, I keep going. And this video, I'm gonna explain and show you a few things that happened in my life, how I dealt with these things, not necessarily what was right and what was wrong, but more what was good, what was bad, what worked, what didn't work, and comparing my journey in life over the last 30 years to the next generation and the generation after that. What are they gonna see? What are they gonna know? What's their influence gonna be? YouTube? Social media? How you have to talk? How you have to think or you'll be cancelled? I want my kids to grow up thinking one thing and one thing only. I'm a good person. I did the right thing. I helped someone because they needed help. I stood up for someone because they needed someone to stand up for them. I had an option, I had a choice to do the wrong thing, but I didn't do it because I know it's the wrong thing to do. It's that simple. That's how I think. That's how I'll always think. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
What's doing, Biz?
I was born in San Francisco. My mum, she was an Aussie hippie, and she decided that she was gonna travel over to San Fran and do what hippies do. 4th of July, sitting on a hill, watching the fireworks. My mum's sitting there by herself. This half African-American, half Swedish man approaches from behind and sort of says, "Hey, what's up, baby? You know, like it's kind of cold outside. Want to jump in my van?" Kind of creepy. Sounded kind of creepy when I first heard it. My mother, politely declined. And then my dad produced a joint.
Dopest dope I've ever smoked.
"Well, do you want to share this with me?" And she's like, yes. Yes, I do. I don't know if I was created on that exact night. Let's work this out for a second. It'll be July, August, September, December, January, February, March. Might be onto something. After a while, my mum didn't want to live there anymore. She'd had enough of the struggle and the situations that were going on. She decided she wanted to go back to Australia. And after some convincing, my dad was like, do they even have roads in Australia? He ended up coming along. He continued his drinking, continued his bad habits. They split up. That's an outline of my situation. And me being a half-caste black, white kid growing up in Australia in the 90s. I had 3 main influences in my life. I had my mum, I had my uncle Scotty, and I had my father. I'm gonna give a little background story on each of those people and the influences that they had on my life. So my first influencer, she was a forgiving type of person. She was very much kind-hearted and always taught me to walk away from confrontation, not to make a big deal out of it, just walk away, like go and tell the teacher, walk away, that's your best bet. And my first sort of confrontation happened in primary school. And I remember it very, very well. There was a girl, there's a group of boys around. I remember her saying, if you can touch the top branch 5 times, you can kiss me on the cheek. So me, I knew I could. I played basketball, I knew how to jump. I was like, oh, this is easy, bang, boom, 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 boom. Went straight in, gave her a peck on the cheek. Didn't think anything of it, it was innocent. This chick got so cut. She decided to call her older brother and her older brother's friends. And they surrounded me, and I did what my mum said. I walked away, tried to get away from them, did the best that I could. There wasn't any teachers in sight. So they eventually caught up to me. Each of them grabbed a limb. One arm around a tree, 2 legs around the tree. And the girl lined me up and gave me the good old fucking Ray Finkel. Straight in the nuts.
Laces out.
I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak at all. I had my testicles inside my jugular. It was that bad. So that was my first experience with trying to walk away from bullies. Doing what my mum had told me to do. So the next bit of advice came from my uncle Scotty, my mum's brother. His life was all about surfing, ladies, all those types of things when he was young. He was really into exerting energy. Like I remember him telling me stories about how he'd bike ride from Sydney to Gosford with like bricks in a bag, just because he was bored. When he'd work on the railways, he'd carry the logs, sleeper logs on his shoulders, and he'd run beside the train to try and get in front of it and then jump across just for a rush. One day what ended up happening was he was cruising down Malabar Road on his BMX. He came on the right-hand side of a truck. He tried to overtake the truck on the right-hand side, cut it off, and turn left into 2nd Avenue. He lost control and he ended up going head first into a brick wall without a helmet on, which caused significant brain injury when he was younger. And then moving forward through the 70s, he was experimenting with drugs and other things, which then eventually turned into him getting into some crime, living on the streets, developing schizophrenia. And at 27, he made the move to a place in the Blue Mountains, which was called Camp Obadiah. There was a Christian community of people that took him in and helped him learn about Christ. That fixed his life. And to this day, that's all I've ever known about my Uncle Scotty. He was Jesus' soldier, you know? He's given me so much positive stuff to go through and to learn in my life, and he's helped me develop to become a good person. I thank my Uncle Scotty for this. There's good, there's bad, but let's get into the advice and the influence that he had on my life and what he told me to do in a certain situation. So a lot of the time growing up, my uncle would tell me, you know, the way of the Bible, the way of Jesus, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. He was so extreme with it because he'd gone through all the pressures in life and he'd given himself a mental breakdown. And he was hoping that that wouldn't happen to me, which did. And I ended up in Thailand. So this is my rehab. He'd always tell me things from the Bible and help me to be a better person. I had this problem going through high school with a couple of guys. I listened to my uncle and he sat me down one night and he said, forgive them because they know not what they do. The next time I went to school and I was cornered by all these people and they were all giving me shit, I decided to turn around to the main antagonizer with the voice of Jesus in my heart that my uncle had said to me, this is what you need to say. I looked him in his eye and I said, I forgive you and I love you. I've told my uncle that story maybe a year ago, and he put his hands in his head and he shook his head and he said, I'm so sorry for telling you to do that. Because the amount of gay jokes, the amount of shit I copped for years after that was not worth it. I understand what he was trying to tell me at that point in my life, but there comes a time when you need to stand up for yourself. The influence my dad had on me, that's what triggered me to stand up for myself. You see, my pops, he was a gangster. Like, I remember a time when I got surrounded, year 8, after a running carnival, these dudes, and they stole my phone out of my bag. There was like 8 of them, so I just didn't know what to do. But I went home, I was crying like a little bitch, and I rang my dad, hey, this is what happened. And he's like, why didn't you call your friends? Where's your friends? I said, I don't have any friends that are gonna do that. Like, I don't have, like, I'm not like you. I didn't grow up in the street like you did. He goes, find out where they live. I'll be there in half an hour. I went through the school book, found his last name, went into the yellow pages, found the address. It was in Chipley, in this suburb in Sydney. My dad went there, had a baseball bat in the back of the car. He had a knife down the back of his pants. And he went and knocked on the door and no one answered. Then this neighbor came through and goes, who are you looking for? My dad said the name and he goes, oh, hang on a second. And he called him. And then the neighbor came up, gave the phone to my dad. The guy's like, who the hell is this? You know, the last person came to my house, I shot him, blah, blah. Dad just put me in the car. He said to me, we're gonna wait for these people to turn up. We're gonna sort it out. So about 10 minutes later, 6 or 7 blokes just come out of this Mitsubishi Mirage. My dad just tells me, stay in the car. If it starts popping off, bring the bat and just start cracking people in the head. I'm 13 years old. I'm so afraid right now. My dad walks down, he's got the knife in the back of his pants. He walks straight up to the group of dudes, says what he's got to say, comes back to the car and goes, you'll have your phone tomorrow. He used to always tell me, never let a man punk you, never let a man say anything to you. Hit him in the mouth and say, talk shit now, bitch. That's what he was all about. So a couple of times I did that in my life, and cop the consequences from my mum or cop the consequences from my uncle or from other people that sort of were like, you don't need to be like that. But the truth is, sometimes you do need to be like that. One of these occasions, I was like that. We were about 14, taking port out of our parents' cupboards and meeting up at Fox Studios, entertainment quarter, and we'd get on the piss, meet girls, do whatever. And one night I was finishing up, I was waiting to get picked up by my mum. There's this dude walking up and down the track, and he's on the phone and he's just blowing up, and I'm like, damn, what's wrong with this guy? He sounds really angry. And my eye caught his eye, and that was the wrong thing, because he just went off on me. You got a fucking eye problem? What the hell's your problem, mate? You want me to fix your eye? Huh? You want me to sort you out? Blah, 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 blah. And automatically, I just put my head down. I was like, nah, man, I don't want no problem with you. I don't want no problem with you. The moment he smelt fear, the moment he just kept going. And for years, I'd see him around, and he'd do it again, punk me again, until I was 18 years old, sitting in the Westfield food court, and he saw me. And I was with a girl, I was with a mate, I was with my brother, and he walked around straight to me, and he cornered me behind the table. I had nowhere to go, and all I could feel was the presence of my father. He'd already passed away by that time, but all I could feel was the presence of my dad in my soul. He automatically just flinched at me like this, from the base of my foot, all the way up through my hip, all the way through my arm and my shoulder, just rolled in and threw the biggest left hand I could ever throw. And it didn't even hit him clean, it hit the back of his ear, and then it hit the side of his jaw, and he fucking flatlined, slid across the floor, got up doing the chicken dance and all. It is what it is, but the guy never fucked with me again. That's the advice I needed. Hello. Bismack's #1 fan. #1 fan? You my fan? #1 fan? Okay, fan.
Coconut ice cream.
Coconut ice cream. Good stuff. Oh man. Oh my god, my teeth are so sensitive to cold. Oh, so this thing's got all the good stuff. Bread, ice cream, peanuts. It's got sticky rice. Oh man. And jelly, coconut jelly. Sorry if anyone got offended by that, if it's disgusting. I just don't give a fuck. I think I played like 4 games. Oh man. There's all these little bugs that come out. It's fucking chat. You ever heard that word, chat? I haven't heard that word in ages, bro. Chat. Oh. Oh yeah. That's disgusting. Oh. I'm fucking getting there, eh? Looking kind of sexy and slim. A little bit of tit going, but that's all right. Keep it gangster. Stay grinding. Your boy Biz. Check out what'sdoingbiz.com. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Just be fucking good. That's all you gotta do. Just be good to people. Take it easy. Peace.